It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis is back with us. Welcome.
Good morning.
You announced a couple weeks ago that you're going to run for the House of Representatives.
Yes,
so why don't you come into the studio? It's kind of twofold for me. Number one, it's like, okay, what's it like to just make that decision? I've never really known anybody to make that kind of a decision. And then number two, it's just kind of informative as to what your role will be if you are elected into the position. So.
Well, initially, I hadn't any intention of running for the legislature. Actually, the thought of it sometimes makes me shudder. You think of 90 people, it's 30 in the Senate and 60 in the House, and the process that they go to create law or amend laws, and it's politics. I would like to say it at its finest, but I would just more say it's politics.
Right, yeah.
And I'm ending the end of my fifth term, and contemplating where to go with life. And I've been wanting to retire at the ranch and help my parents and help them. And then the seat for District 1 came open, and it's a 100-day session, and I thought, well, I can do the 100-day session, still help my parents, and hopefully bring some change to the makeup of the Arizona State Legislature, which is composed of some very unique characters.
Yeah. When did you first become a Yavapai County Supervisor? Because you've been there, like you said, fifth term. So how many years is that?
1996.
Okay.
19 years ago.
All right.
And it's been fun. We've accomplished a lot, seen a lot of change.
Rewarding, you think?
Very rewarding. And I would take the opportunity to ask anyone, if you want to run for office, this is a great position, and we're more than happy to share any information about the supervisor's office and what we do, and encourage people to run for office. It is rewarding.
Right. You know how the supervisors work. You've been doing it for a long time now. Tough job?
No. It can be if you make it, but if you, like anything in life, if you find the good in it and strive for that and focus on that, it stays enjoyable.
What's the biggest struggle of being a supervisor? What's the toughest part?
I think dealing with other elected officials and trying to soften egos to keep things focused on accomplishing good things.
The balance is tough? Yeah.
But it's possible.
What's the best part?
Accomplishing projects, helping people overcome obstacles, and making improvements to communities.
Like what? Give me some for instances here.
We've created Windmill Park in Cornville, Sycamore Park in Lake Montezuma, Rimrock, Kiwanis Park up in the village of Oak Creek. We've partnered with many organizations for the parks around the Verde Valley. We partnered with Arizona State Parks to keep our state parks open during the recession. And as little as having an individual that's struggling with either planning and zoning or the assessor's office to try to bring people together to solve problems as easy as possible and as less bureaucratic as possible.
Has that gotten easier or harder over time?
I think easier just because you know where to find answers. And that's one thing with the supervisor's position. You know the intricacies of each department, and you know who has expertise in what, and so when a problem arises, you know where to go to find help and answers.
The go-tos. Yeah. I think of Beaverhead Flats Road.
That was another great project.
Yeah. I think of two road projects for you. Maybe you've got more than that. Cornville Road, of course, is just all newly paved right now. It's really nice driving down that road. But Beaverhead Flat Road was a big one. I remember being a teenager in the Verde Valley, that was the party road. That was the, what was it, 7 Mile road?
7 Mile Road.
7 Mile Road. And it was a dirt road, and it was windy and bumpy and washboardy, and it took a long time to drive between here and the village of Oak Creek. And then, of course, we paved it, and boom, now it's just it's a scenic roadway, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a scenic highway. Not a highway, but a scenic roadway. Yeah, and then the Mingus Avenue Extension is another huge project. I actually visited you guys down there when you were doing that years ago.
It helped with the congestion quite a bit.
Yeah, I was directing traffic and getting them through there. No. But okay, so you've got quite a few things done over the years. Yeah. Do you think you'll miss being a county supervisor? Legislator, a bigger role or a smaller role, or?
Different role. I think supervisor is probably more gratifying in that you can work directly with the departments, you can work directly with the citizens, directly with other governmental agencies, and keep things moving. Whereas when you become one member of a party of 90, I think things turn into more of a process. So that'll be the challenge, is trying to learn to streamline the process, because so far in my research, I believe county government is far more efficient than what I see with state government.
There's probably a lot of folks that would agree with you on that.
And I'm hoping we can bring some of the efficiencies of county government into state practices, and probably turn it into less talk and more action.
How do we do that, though? You got any ideas? I mean, you've got to have some ideas, right?
Yeah, I do.
Just to kind of move the process along?
And I think, so I've had a great education with Yavapai County. When at the end of my term, I'll have 20 years in, and I feel like I've learned a lot, but I can apply that to the state. And one of the things that I've learned is that you can do an analysis of just about any department and start finding efficiencies and inefficiencies and ways to improve service and lower cost. And I think that when organizations get so big that they lose sight of the small things that really add up into large numbers. We haven't balanced our budget in a long time without, hawking the state capitol and a number of other state buildings to manage the budget. And I think there's different ways to solve the problem without necessarily raising taxes, but through efficiencies you can do improvements.
The county, kind of like what we saw through the recession, we had you in a few times when the recession was, it was right down to Post-it notepads and stuff like that. We were talking about eliminating some of that stuff out of just the daily budgets for the county.
And it worked. We didn't have to borrow money. At one point, at the very start, we had a layoff of 8 people. And it was that experience when we decided, that's not a good practice to lay off people. We can hold positions open through attrition, which we did, but we don't want to have our employees worried about being laid off. So let's kind of pass the policy that we won't lay people off. We'll hold positions through attrition. And then when you adopt a good policy, I think your employees buy in and then start helping you with efficiencies also.
Sure. The employee wants to save their job too. So say, okay, what in this office don't I need? Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yep. Our department heads, elected officials, everybody stepped up and shouldered it together. Economy's pulling out, getting better in the last year and a half, 2 years, and so we're growing cautiously though.
Right.
In fact, we even lowered the tax rate this year. We just passed the budget 2 weeks ago and lowered the budget 0.2%, but even so, we lowered it versus most other government entities raised their taxes. So we're still trying to hold the line.
All right, let's take our first break. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Countywide. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis in studio today. He's running for the House of Representatives, Legislative District 1.
Legislative District 1.
Now, that's held by Karen Fann, and now she is going to run for Steve Pierce's Senate seat. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
That's how this chain kind of goes along. Who asked you to run for the legislature? Or was that your brainstorm?
Well, my wife and I were kicking around our future, and when Karen's seat came open, we thought, well, let's go down and see if we can help do positive things down there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You gonna stay up here? Of course. Right. Okay. All right. You said that the job's like 100 days, 120, 130 maybe. What does a legislator do the rest of the time?
Well, generally you visit communities and people in your district and kind of keep up with what's happening in their communities, or you get back to what it is you do for your regular part of living. It was designed for regular business people, farmers, ranchers, to go down, do their duty, then get back to what it is that is their livelihood. And that's why the pay is very low and it's set at 100 days. I wouldn't mind if they changed the process a little bit and make maybe go every second year you do nothing but focus on a 2-year budget, and then 1 year you only focus on Arizona law. As it is right now, they introduce a couple of thousand bills a year and try to do the budget. And I think that both of those require more concentration and focus and would be better served if we could split them every other year.
Too much multitasking maybe? Yeah.
Well, so this year, they did the budget first, and that was an odd process. The governor, the Senate of the President, and the House, and the Speaker of the House got together and did a budget, and then came out and instructed all of the members of the Senate and the House, this is the budget, and you'll vote yes. So
I remember that.
It wasn't a lot of input by the membership, but they did pass the budget very quickly. And then they went on to do the laws, and I think they eventually passed about 350 laws. But previous years, they generally start with the lawmaking, with the bills that are dropped, and go through those, like I say, a couple thousand. And then towards the end of the 100 days, they're like, hey, we have to do a budget. And so then that's done very quickly and at the middle of the night. And I think there could be some improvements.
Okay, so either one gets a lot of attention and one gets no attention, and vice versa. So what do you see needing change? Anything really specifics too?
Transportation would be the first one on my mind. The infrastructure in the state of Arizona, and whether you look at it locally or on a statewide basis, we are severely behind. When you travel the interstate, it's embarrassing to be in Arizona and to think that this is your state of infrastructure, and the impression you're giving those folks from other states of how little we invest into our state. Then you look at the cities and the towns and the counties funding. The funding has been diverted away from their dedicated road funding to fund the highway DPS program. That definitely needs to be changed. And I look at it from an economical point of view. I mean, if you want to attract industry, I think when folks come in and look over your state, they're going to want to know, well, what type of investments do you do in your state so I can get my products in and out of here? What type of an investment do you do in your education system so that I can get a knowledgeable workforce, or I can train them up quick if I need? I think those things are investments, not necessarily expenses. And I would hope that we look at all things as an investment. When you invest money, what is the potential return of that investment? And I'll go back to, again, investing into Arizona is an investment that will come back to you, because you'll attract tourism, you'll attract industry, you'll attract economic development, and that in turn makes for a healthy economy.
It's funny you talk about the roads, because I drive 17 a lot, and there are chunks that are just unbearable to drive. They're just really in poor shape. But even Cornville Road there for a while, I was trying to figure out why would we be paving from 89A just past the Tissot Road area. And then one day I kind of just paid attention driving over that, and it was kind of piecemealed here and there. There'd been work done and stuff like that. And I drove through there this morning, and wow, smooth as butter. Just nice flow. So roads, we are doing a lot of road work there on the state. I mean, this summer it's been amazing how much road work has been going on. 40, 17, Cornville Road, other roads around the area. Highway 89 just got finished out by Chino Valley. So, I mean, there's been some
They're
road
doing more work in Chino this week, too.
Yeah, the roundabout's getting
Road 4
some work.
North, yeah.
And then Hell's Canyon Bridge. That was in the news quite a bit. That's a big deal.
Well, and there's another example. I mean, that bridge had gone so long that eventually a chunk of it fell out of the center where you could see down to the canyon on the highway.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
And I think the last study of the washout of the bridge on I-10, but there was discussion about the deficient bridges in Arizona, and again, we're severely behind the 8 ball. We need to be ahead.
Yeah.
One thing I worry about, and you do travel interstates, but you even have to watch your following distance, because the roads are unraveling and have these little rocks everywhere that if you're following too close, you're going to lose a windshield. So it'll be exciting.
So roads.
Make change.
Oh, we've got to take another break already. Okay, Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis in studio today. He's running for the House of Representatives. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Do Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got about 3 minutes left in the program, Mr. Supervisor Chip Davis. ElectChipDavis.com is the website you can go to for more information about this guy right here sitting next to me. It's a long campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've already started, right? But you're also chairman. Now, are you chairman right now of the board, or does that start at the January?
Vice chair. Right,
I never know if it's the fiscal year or the calendar year. So the chairman of the board is the calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'll be firing that up next year. And then you got a campaign between now and then.
I do, and it's exciting. It runs, this district encompasses Cave Creek, Carefree, Anthem, New River, Black Canyon City, Cordis, Congress, right above Wickenburg, over to Baghdad, up to Seligman, Ashford, Chino Valley, Prescott Valley, Dewey Humboldt.
Oh, it's kind of like a slice right down the middle of the state, isn't it?
It's huge. The only thing they did that disturbs me is that it literally cut out all of the Verde Valley, Sedona, Jerome, Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Camp Verde are all cut out, and then that district flies up and goes with Flagstaff, Payson, District 6. What happened in my situation when they did that carving is on the south side of Cottonwood, they left out about, I don't know, 20 different homes.
Oh, they're just out there, huh?
There's like 20, there's a handful of homes that are in with the Prescott district. I'm one of those homes. So I'm running in a district where I've, largely, I would think my stronghold was the Verde Valley, and now I'll be running in a district that we have had our fair share of issues.
So you haven't been challenged much over the years.
No, I ran the last 3 unopposed.
Right. So, I mean, you'll be opposed.
I'm sure. But I'm hoping the Verde Valley folks help me, because irregardless of what district I live in, if there's an issue with rural Arizona, the Verde Valley, Yavapai County, I hope folks know that they could look to me to, do all I could to keep the best interest of our rural Arizona. So I would make that plea and ask if the Verde Valley folks could help me with my campaign. It'd be largely appreciated. And again, it's just a boundary. Maybe they can't cast a vote, but there's other stuff they can do.
So we'll know by next November, a year from November, right?
Correct.
Right. That's a ways off.
Primary to August, so we're less than a year away from early voting for the primary. And again, since it's such a large district, that's why we're rocking and rolling now. We're trying to get out and meet folks in Cave Creek, Carefree, Anthem, and Seligman and Ash Fork and Baghdad. And
going to see Chip Davis's face plastered all over kinds of posters and kissing babies and stuff like that. We're out of time.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming in. It was good seeing you. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis in studio today. That's today's Countywide, and we'll talk to you again next time.